Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well today, and we've got a top 10 North America Rlcs power ranking going into the season, which starts in 6 days for North America. It's currently Saturday. This video is being released as soon as it's done today. Just got done with Rlcs myself, and if I sound a little weird or look a little tired, I am very sick right now. I've got a super high fever. Unfortunately, it just started yesterday. Worst timing ever because Rlcs started, and I think it's from New Year's. Maybe I shouldn't have gone out for New Year's, but you know, because Rlcs was so soon. But yeah, I've got a very high temperature and I don't feel too good. So we're trying to get this video done. I'm trying not to miss a day. So I hope you bear with me and don't make too much fun of me if I sound weird, because at least to myself I do. Anyway, let's get into the top 10 now. I'm not doing EU this year predictions because I have already predicted, sorry, not already predicted. I usually don't predict EU or the opposite region that I'm competing in. This season I'm competing in EU, so we'll be predicting NA for YouTube videos. Last 2 seasons we'd predict EU because we're not playing in that region. Not a fan of predicting tournaments that I'm involved in, basically, because you have to put yourself at first. It makes for a boring video, basically, because you know that you're going to put yourself at first. All right, let's get straight into it. Okay, coming in at number 10, I've got Pioneers. This is JNaps, Aris, and Aqua. These guys have a lot of upside. Two very mechanical players, Aris and Aqua. JNaps, an extremely solid player. And the person you want to have around with 2 younger players, or 2 players that maybe not young now, I think they're both like 18, but 2 players that aren't as experienced to the high level as JNaps. Aris and Aqua. Aris, I'm very impressed with last season. I thought he was great. See, I know that the whole community, and I do agree that Aqua is always talked about as like having potential and stuff, and then he never plays well or never does well results wise. He's still very good. Now, does he put as much effort into the game as he should compared to his skill level? No, that's a fact. Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he doesn't believe fully in himself. I'm not sure what it is. He could be one of the best players, at least contending for LANs, if he tried. I don't think he fully tries. You know, is that because, maybe, you know, like I said, a lot of times players don't fully try because they're worried about what people will think about them if they do try and lose. You know, that's a massive thing that I've noticed through Rocket League players over the years, certain players, but I'm not too sure. I think that mentality is going to be an issue on this team. I think if they can hold it together, mainly down to JNaps, I think that they could really be pushing down up into the top 6 spots in the region. I think this team has a ton of upside. Do I think they'll reach it? I have them at 10th, so that will tell you kind of all you need to know. Omelette at 9. These guys are top 8 gatekeepers pretty much. These guys are very, very solid, very defensive, which I'm not a fan of. I don't think that it rewards them as highly as other playstyles could, but I think it gets them very consistent results, top 8s, etc. And I think that they can upset teams and and get some top 4, you know, a top 4 result here or there, maybe, if they play a team that is playing bad on their day. So this team doesn't really have a crazy peak, in my opinion. They took G2 to Game 7 overtime in the last season. And usually when they get an upset, it's more so down to the other team not playing at their level rather than these guys stepping up. I do like these guys individually. I think that Lion Blaze and Zenil are very good. I think Percy's good too, don't get me wrong. But when I look at this team, I'm looking at Lion Blaze to create most of the chances. I think Zenil's their best player overall, and the person that I would, you know, think would do the best in the future of that team. But yeah, I think they're too defensive. I don't think they'll push higher than top 7 in the region at most. They'll get some top 8s. I think that they could fall in the top 12 rounds as well. But these guys are consistent. They're solid. Number 9 is where I have them. Wouldn't be too surprised if they move up a couple spots, though, compared to some of these other teams. Number 8 is Talk 2. I can't believe I have to say that name as a team name. But that is Talk Common Evo. I'm a big fan of these guys, individually at least. I think as a team, it's very similar to Pioneers. You have a solid player to individually skilled mechanical players that you're looking out for the most. Mentality will be a thing that you're going to be looking at to go wrong, I think, with this team. You know, Com is, you know, will be fine mentally. He's a very good teammate, talks a lot. I know that for sure, and he's very good as a teammate. He's a good guy to have around. if you want a good kind of leader style person. Evo and Talk, I think that Evo can have some mentality issues. I think Talk's still young and we don't know yet. However, Talk is a very strange player in terms of being like a rookie because he doesn't strike me as a rookie. He's very solid already. He doesn't make many mistakes mechanically. He's extremely good mechanically, you know. Doesn't hit like the craziest peak shots, but his overall mechanics are very, very consistent at a high level. And yeah, he doesn't strike me as a rookie because usually rookies will, you know, have some crazy mechanics or similar mechanics like Talk does, but then they'll mess up a lot. He doesn't. So I think he's already very polished. I think he's already more than ready for RLCS. And I think he'll be good on this team. Evo's their best player at his peak. Evo is absolutely fantastic individually. I was very impressed with him during this off-season, just during tryouts and stuff. And he was great. Now, does he keep that same level of motivation and level going into tournament season, you know, mid-season? I don't think so. I hope he can because I do like him and I think he can be a breath of kind of fresh air for North America in general at LANs and stuff. Yeah, we'll see if these guys will do slightly better than I rate them because I did have them at 7th. My 7th team is Shopify. I had these guys at 8th. I'm not a fan of this team. I like the guys a lot individually. I think that as people and players, by the way, I think that they're all great players individually, especially 2-piece. I think as people, I like them all. And I would love to see them make a LAN. As a team, I'm really not a fan. I think that they're very bland. You know, when I think of Shopify and what their strengths are, I can't actually think of any. And I think that's an issue for the team compared to the level that they can show and the level of the individuals they have. I think that they can have a lot of strengths. Right now, do they? I don't think so. I think that they'll get 7th maybe on just purely some close wins. I wouldn't be surprised if I see them at 8th, you know. But this is such a weird team because I also wouldn't be surprised if I saw them at like 5th, like they or 4th. They can peak, but they just don't. You're never threatened. You're never threatened playing them. It's very strange. It's really strange. I remember always in scrims in the last 2 seasons, even saying to my team like, I don't get it. Like they don't do anything, which is really strange. I think they could be a lot better than they are. Will they reach that this season? I don't know. I was very surprised when they stuck together. I think that they would do better without each other. I think that they would do better individually if they split up. I'd like to be proven wrong with this team because I think that I would want to see them at a LAN just as the players. I like them a lot. Number 6, I have Space Station. This was very close between Space Station, Chicago Hoxer and Kofa, which I have at 5th, and Genji at 4th. I honestly think that all 3 of these teams are very close. Space Station I do have at 6th because I was very impressed with these guys when they first came on to the scene. You know, I actually lost them in my first match against them in Game 5. And then in the same tournament, I did beat them, but it was a best of 7. I think we went 2-0 down at the start of the best of 7, and I had to claw it back to 4-2. And they surprised me a lot. I thought they were very, very good. And I don't know, since then, I wasn't too impressed. I think, excuse me, sorry. I think that they still have a lot of room to grow, though. So they're very young, they're very mechanical, and for that reason, I do have them at 6th. Yeah, I'm not sure about this team. We'll have to see about this one because I probably rate them slightly lower than most people. I actually put them at 6th at a bit of a push here. Yeah, I think it would be good for the region and for the scene in general if we had a new team of young players come up. And I know that the community is very high on these guys because they're young, you know, and so I think it'll be good if they do well. Will we see it? They didn't play well in the last split. I was very surprised they stuck together. But again, could be proven wrong. Right now, I would prefer putting money on the next team I have. If I was betting, I'd put money on these guys rather than those guys. I'm not sure, you know, why exactly, but yeah, I think Chicago Hoxer and Kof will be better slightly. Chicago Hoxer are more solid. I think they'll provide a little bit of a more stable kind of play style that is going to kind of reward them with consistency throughout the whole split. I think that Kofa doesn't have to fill LJ's shoes because that was the former player on this team. I think that he'll have his own style, which is honestly kind of similar, at least, you know, very mechanical solo based. Kova's very good. You know, I think he will be a great player. I think I really like his mentality. In tournament, at least, I played a 2 tournament with him. He was great. He was very solid mentally, very focused, very nice, you know, just forgiving if you make mistakes. It's just a player that you want to have around, I think, and I think he'll prove it. I think he'll be good. I hope he's good because I do like him as a person a lot. I have a lot of time for him. So yeah, I think these guys will be good. Chicago and Hoxer. Chicago impressed me a lot during the end of last season. I think he improved during the season. I think he also improved compared to his previous season. Hoxer is a player that plays very well with a particular role on his team. And if he can find that kind of selfless role on this team as well, I think that he will do very well with them. So yeah, I have him at 5th over Space Station. Very close, and honestly very close to 4th with Gen.G. Gen.G, extremely hardworking team. I have them over at 4th because I think that their understanding of how to be in a tournament situation will serve them better than the other teams because I think they've been there more now, at least compared to Space Station just overall and compared to Hoxer's team as a whole team because they're coming in with a new player. Now, do I think that they can push higher than this? I don't, honestly. I have the next 3 teams in a little bit of a tier of their own, or a couple tiers of their own, and I think that Gen.G will be closer to 5th than they are to 3rd. But I do have them at 4th. I do have them at that land spot for this upcoming split, and I hope so. I really like these guys, of course. Big fan of these guys, and yeah, I hope that they can do it. Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of good teams. There's a lot of teams that I think can prove a lot. Gen.G, I was slightly surprised to not see him make a move. But that's just because of how Rocket League goes. We see the world champions making team moves. You know, I was surprised to not see these guys make a move. Now, does it come down to being comfortable or does it come down to being confident? I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. You know, I'm a very pessimistic person when it comes to stuff like this. I would put it down to being comfortable. So, you know, but I'm quite harsh when it comes to like, yeah, I was just surprised. But I think they will get top 4. I think I'll get top 4. All right. 3rd, I have Complexity. 2nd, I have the Ultimates, rumored Ultimates at least, org-wise. And then 1st, I have NRG. Complexity, Diaz has to play up to his standard. I mean, all these guys do. They were not good in the last split. People will tell you that they were like still played well and other teams in South America were just good. They weren't. I don't know what people were seeing. Like I watched it. They didn't play well. They didn't play up to their like standard that they could be playing at. They have to like improve, and I think that they will and have. I think individually these guys are one of the strongest teams in the region. I mean, clearly I have them at 3rd. I think they are individually the 3rd strongest in the region, quite considerably as well. I think Sierra and Diaz individually are absolutely fantastic. I think Raiseball in a tournament plays incredible. So, you know, like barely even the worst on his teams usually, you know, in tournaments. So I think he's great in a tournament setting. I think he's very calm, very consistent, very stable. Diaz, we'll see if he can play up to his level in 3s that we know he can in 1s. And yeah, I'm not sure. I know I've been speaking to a couple of other people, and I know that some other people, some pros in North America, have these guys over my next team, which is the Ultimates. I personally don't. I think that these guys are going to be definitely better. This is LJ First Kill on Chronic. These guys, I think, will be great. They just won the off-season open of NA in a couple weeks ago, and they beat NRG in the finals. It's 1-1 in the series against these between these guys. You know, NRG won one of the series against them. Then these guys beat them in the last series because they had to bracket reset, basically. NRG did. And so these guys can beat NRG. I think that playstyle will be an issue for these guys, kind of like it was with us in the last season, but I think that LJ individually is one of the greatest in the world. I think that he plays incredibly. So I think that I'm very confident in this team. I really want to see them do well, which is different usually to what you would want to see from your past teammates. You always want to beat your past teammates, you know. Maybe you want to see them do well still, but you always want to beat them. And of course, I want to beat these guys, but I genuinely want to see these guys be the best in the region. I like them all a lot, and I think that they can do it. Yeah, I do think that they could lack a play style. We'll see what that play style is, if they have one, because I know that NRG, that's one of the best teams I've ever seen. NRG I have at number 1. They won't move from number 1 until they lose 2 regionals in a row. Even if they lose the first regional, I still have them at number 1. These guys are insane, man. Like, I haven't seen a team like it. They're incredible. They're the best team of last season by far. They made every grand finals. It's ridiculous. You know, now can they do it 2 seasons in a row? I think out of any team that I ever thought could, I think that these guys can. You know, I don't see them losing. I really don't. Not in this region. Not in this region. I don't see them losing. I think that Daniel is like just the best player you can have on your team, pretty much consistency wise, and his play style. He doesn't get demoed. He's very solid kind of defensively. He doesn't mess up his mechanics. For me, he's the best player on the team. Beast Mode plays the best in the tournament and scores the most goals, makes the most plays. So I think in tournament, you know, they just complement each other so well. You know, Beast Mode and Daniel, you know, I think that Daniel is the best, but I think that it's because his defense for me is just out of this world. Beast Mode, I can see why everyone else thinks he's the best though, because he does everything on the pitch. You know, offensive wise, he scores everything. He scores crazy goals. Yeah, absolutely incredible player. Atomic is just a very good kind of middle player for this team. You know, and I don't like saying this usually because it always discredits the player, I feel like, you know, calling them the glue, for example. But he's great. He's really good at that role. And he just doesn't challenge and just buys perfect time for his teammates and sets them up. And he has great mechanics as well, so he can score really nice goals. And his shooting is very good. So I think that his like, he's definitely, you know, when you look at that team, he is the worst, but it's not. He's still like a top 5, you know, top 7, 6 player in the region. And for this team, I wouldn't replace anyone for anyone right now. I think that Atomic is perfect in his style for this team, and all 3 of them are great. Safu as a coach is very hype, very professional, very solid. These guys are number 1 by far. I don't think it'll move, and yeah. You know, I want the Ultimates team to be number 1. But I like kind of rosters that do very well over a long period of time, so I wouldn't be too disappointed if I see these guys keep on winning. I think that it's cool if they can, because no team's ever really done it 2 seasons in a row, at least not in the open era, and not for this amount of time in all of Rocket League, pretty much. So we'll see. That is my top 10, boys. You know, the other teams that I didn't have in the top 10, deleted, and Strictly Business would be my next kind of honorable mentions. Deleted, Andy, Wavy, and Gyro, and Strictly Business, Ixo, CMAS, and Crispy. I think that both of these guys could push up into that top 10 range, and I wouldn't be too surprised at all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Any disagreements, please feel free to disagree with me. It's always the good part of these. Have a healthy discussion, and then, yeah, I'll see what you guys think. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like, drop a sub to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.